Hey, everybody. We are going to go over I Never Cry by Alice Cooper. There's a lot of tutorials online for this song. I'm gonna show you with a couple, maybe more authentic chords that are still relatively easy to play. That'll you'll kind of hear it sounds a little bit more like the song, and they're interesting chords. One of my rules, or one of the things I believe, is when you have a chord that has additional notes in it, additional different notes, it adds more interest to the ear. I've said it a million times. And sometimes it's not the right place for it, but many times it does. Like you have a minor chord, and then you have a minor seventh chord. So the minor seventh chord is just it's the minor chord with an additional note added, a different note, a seventh or a minor seventh. So what we're going to do, I'll go through kind of the verse of this, and it's generally taught C, C7, F, B flat 7. Or sometimes in place of that B flat 7th, it's an F minor. So some guys will say, if there's a tear on my face. Okay? But we're actually going to play, instead of a C7, we're going to play a C7 sus 2. All right? That's the chord there. And this is from the sheet music. Now, the sheet music might be for piano or for the other musicians, so we're just adapting it to the guitar. So that's going to be, instead of a C7, we're going to play this chord. And what this chord, the way you finger it, basically you're barring the third fret, but you're not playing that E string. So maybe you just bar the 5 strings, but if you're used to barring, you may just want to grab the whole, all 6 strings across the third fret. Just avoid that E string, because that happens to be the third, which you don't want a third here. We want to suspend the third and play it 2. That's what's actually going on musically. And then basically you're playing, and I'll just go from the fat string X. Okay, you're not playing it. 3, 5, 3, 3, 3, and it sounds like this. All right, so and then you're going to go to an F, okay, and then instead of the B7 or the F minor, you're going to play a B9. All right. Now, what a B9 is, if you've ever played a ninth chord, say up there, you're basically using your ring finger to bar, and we could just we could pick a fret, say the 7th fret. You put your ring finger across those the 3 high strings. Put your index finger on the D string on the 6th fret, and then your ring finger over on the A string 7th fret. So you're playing, you're not playing this E string. Well, in this case you could, because it's an E9, and that would be okay. But let's just say X 7 6 7 7 7. Okay, that's a 9th chord. So imagine that back here, where you're barring the 1st fret. Okay, this is going to be your B flat 9. So you're going to bar that 1st fret with your middle finger pretty hard, and then you're going to reach over with your middle finger. Your ring finger there, middle finger over to the A string. You're going to skip the D string because you want the D string to ring. And for it to ring, you can't be lazy or relax this hand, even though you're pressing hard. You have to almost like turn it so these fingers sort of press up against the back of that fret, okay? And what that'll do is it'll lift that finger and allow that D string to ring, because you need that note. This may be a new chord for you, so if it's difficult at first, it's fine playing that B flat 7. All right? But this B flat 9 has 5 notes in it. You're playing 5 strings, and they're all different notes. So it sounds a little more interesting than a B flat 7. Both of them will work. One may be easier for you than the other, but if you can work on getting that B flat 9, that kind of ends that phrase. Okay, so it's a C, If there's a tear on my face, makes me shiver to the bone. Okay, so you do that loop twice, and then it changes a little bit. It starts with the C and the C7 sus2 and the F, but it ends on a D7. And the words are, it's just a heartache that got caught in my eye. Okay, D7. And it's actually a D7 with a C in the bass, but I'm not going to play that because it's too much of a reach for me, and I don't think I need it. So I'm just going to play a D7 there. And then the last line is going to be a C, you know, A minor, I'll never D minor, to a G. I'm sorry. And you know, I never cry, I never cry, F C. Okay, but instead of an A minor and a D minor, I'm going to play an A minor 7 to a D minor 7 to the G, F, C. Okay, so instead of the A minor, D minor, I'm playing A minor 7, D minor 7th. So let's play the whole verse. It goes, if there's a tear on my face, makes me shiver to the bone, shakes me, baby, just a heartache get caught in my eye. And you know, A minor 7 to a D minor 7. Oh wait, and you know, I never cry, I never cry. Okay, and what I did there, when I went to the D minor 7th, rather than go into a full G chord, which you can, I just threw the G bass note in there. So again, the last line of that is, and you know, A minor 7th, D minor 7th, I never cry, I never cry, F to a C. Sometimes I drink more than I need. Okay? Okay, and you just go to the second verse, same progression, but a lot of like little changes to the way maybe you learn how to play it, or to some of the other tutorials online. And then when we get to the chorus, actually coming out of the second verse, and the night may pass me by, I'll never cry. Take away my eyes. Sometimes I'd rather be blind. Okay, and here, and you're gonna do this loop twice, but it's F, E minor, A minor, D minor, to a G. What I do is I do a suspended, which I'll show you. But instead of the E minor, A minor, D minor, again, I'm employing the E minor 7th, A minor 7th, and D minor 7th. Again, use them as you wish. For me, it just adds a little bit more interest, especially if you happen to be playing solo. But even if you're playing with another guitar player, it does throw another note in there that works well. So again, that chorus is going to be take away, and I'll play the minor 7ths. E minor 7th, take away my eyes. A minor 7, D minor 7, rather be blind. Okay, and what that is, that's a G7 sus4 to a G7, and I play it there rather than this G7 to a G. I think this is that change or that suspended comes through more when you're barring at the third. And basically, if you're barring at the third, the chord shape is a 3-5-3-5-3-3, and then you're just resolving to a G7. All right, so you just all right, and then it loops again. Break a heart of stone, open it up, don't you leave it alone, 'cause that's all I got to give to you. Believe me, babe, ain't been used. My heart's a virgin, it never been tried, and you know I'll never cry, and you know I'll never cry, and you know I'll never cry. And it's kind of into a chorus. Break a heart of stone, open it up, and don't you leave it alone, 'cause that's all I got to give to you. Believe me, babe, it ain't been used. My heart's a virgin, never been tried, and you know I never cry, I never cry. That's it. Utilize those chords and play along with the song, and I think you'll see that it fits really well. And hopefully there are a couple chords that maybe you didn't have in your arsenal or your vocabulary before. So enjoy. Appreciate you stopping by, and comment, like, all that good stuff. Cool.